Boston never truly forgets its ghosts. Years after the blood-soaked events that ended the reign of Frank Costello, the streets still whisper his name. The police department has changed, but corruption still lingers in quiet corners. A new generation of officers walks the same halls once haunted by betrayal. Among them is Detective Ryan Callahan, ambitious and sharp-eyed. He grew up hearing stories of the infamous mole scandal. To him, it was legend. To others, it was a scar. And scars, Boston knows, never truly fade. Late one night, Callahan discovers a sealed evidence box. Inside are files connected to Billy Costigan and Colin Sullivan. The case was officially closed, buried under layers of silence. But one document hints at another undercover operative, a name blacked out, a mission unfinished. Callahan senses something dangerous in the omission. Someone powerful wanted this erased, and someone might still be protecting that secret. Across the harbor, a calculated new crime boss rises. Declan Tierney, once a quiet lieutenant, now commands the underworld. He studied Costello's mistakes carefully. Unlike his predecessor, he avoids unnecessary chaos. He builds alliances with international cartels. Money flows cleaner, quieter, deadlier. Boston begins to feel his influence. But the police remain unaware of how deep his roots already run. Investigative journalist Elena Cruz senses something brewing. She's been tracking unexplained wealth among city officials. Her sources mention the name Tierney in hushed tones. She connects it to the old Costello empire. When she approaches Callahan for comment, he hesitates. Trust in Boston is expensive. Still, their shared curiosity forms a fragile alliance. Together, they begin pulling at dangerous threads. In a quiet suburban home, a man watches the news in silence. He was once embedded deep inside Costello's crew. Presumed dead, his survival was never recorded. His name is Sean McBride, the erase file. He left the life behind, or so he believed. But Tierney's rise awakens old fears. He knows Tierney was more ambitious than anyone realized. An ambition like that never forgets loose ends. Internal Affairs opens a quiet investigation. Financial discrepancies point toward high-ranking officials. Callahan is warned to stay in his lane. But warnings only fuel his determination. He remembers how Sullivan fooled them all. History, he fears, is repeating itself. Someone inside the department is feeding Tierney information, and they're very careful. A key witness tied to Tierney is found dead. The murder is precise, professional, silent. Callahan recognizes the signature, trained execution. This is not street-level brutality. This is organized strategy. Elena publishes a cautious article. The city grows uneasy. Tierney, however, remains invisible. Tierney approaches McBride in secret. He offers protection, money, and power. He claims the old order is gone. This is a new era of crime, smarter, cleaner. McBride refuses, haunted by Costigan's sacrifice. Tierney smiles calmly. Refusal, he says, is temporary. Loyalty, however, is eternal. Callahan arranges a covert surveillance operation. He suspects a meeting at the docks. But when officers move in, they find nothing. Tierney anticipated the raid. Someone tipped him off. Callahan's frustration turns to paranoia. The mole is closer than he thinks. In watching him carefully, McBride secretly contacts Callahan. He reveals fragments of Costello's hidden investments, shell companies that still operate today. Tierney inherited more than territory. He inherited influence. Callahan realizes the empire never died. It simply changed hands, and it grew stronger in silence. Elena uncovers offshore accounts tied to city contracts. The paper hesitates to publish her findings. Legal threats flood the newsroom. She understands the risk now. This isn't just organized crime. This is systemic corruption. The roots stretch into politics, and they strangle anyone who gets too close. Police Commissioner Harding appears supportive, but subtle inconsistencies catch Callahan's attention. Harding once worked closely with Sullivan. Too closely. Financial audits reveal unexplained donations. Callahan begins to suspect the unthinkable. Could the rot reach the very top? Trust becomes impossible. McBride is attacked, leaving his home. Masked gunmen nearly succeed. He survives barely. The message is clear. Tyranny doesn't tolerate loose threads. McBride agrees to testify, but protection feels fragile. Boston's shadows are long. Callahan plants false intel about a fake raid. Only a few officials are informed. Tyranny responds immediately. The leak narrows to one name: Commissioner Harding. The revelation hits like a gunshot. The highest badge in the city, owned by the underworld. Callahan turns to internal affairs secretly. They build a case quietly. Elena prepares the story of a lifetime. But Tyranny senses movement. Harding warns him of suspicion. Tyranny prepares his exit strategy. If Boston burns, he will not burn with it. He never intended to stay forever. Elena publishes everything. Bank accounts, contracts, names. The city erupts in outrage. Harding denies all allegations. Tyranny vanishes overnight. McBride is moved to a secure location. Callahan knows the final act has begun, and someone will not survive it. Federal agents enter the scene. Boston becomes a chessboard. Tyranny attempts to flee through the harbor, but Callahan tracks his movements. A storm rolls in over the city. Nature mirrors the chaos. Old warehouses become battlegrounds. History prepares to repeat itself. Callahan corners Harding first. The commissioner pleads justification. He claims the system was broken long ago. He merely adapted. Callahan sees Sullivan's reflection in him. Corruption disguised as survival. A single gunshot ends Harding's reign. Justice comes quietly. Tyranny waits aboard a freighter. Money packed, passports ready. He believes he has won. But McBride steps from the shadows. A ghost from the past. Their standoff is tense, personal. Tyranny mocks loyalty and sacrifice. He underestimates conviction. Gunfire erupts across the dockyard. Callahan joins the confrontation. Tyranny attempts escape amid chaos. McBride shields Callahan from a fatal shot. Tyranny falls, wounded. He laughs, even as he bleeds, claiming another will rise after him. Crime never truly dies. As sirens approach, Tyranny reaches for a hidden weapon. Callahan reacts instantly. The shot is clean, decisive. Tyranny collapses into the harbor waters. The Empire sinks with him, but uncertainty remains. Power vacuums invite danger. Boston exhales cautiously. Federal investigations sweep through City Hall. Arrests multiply. The department undergoes reform. Callahan testifies publicly. Elena's reputation skyrockets. McBride survives, scarred but alive. The ghosts feel quieter now, but not entirely gone. Callahan visits Costigan's unmarked grave. He speaks softly about unfinished battles. The city still needs guardians. He understands the burden now. Undercover work leaves permanent fractures. Trust is fragile currency, and loyalty is often punished. But sacrifice matters. Boston begins rebuilding trust slowly. Young officers enter the force inspired by truth. Transparency replaces silence. Elena writes a book about the corruption scandal. McBride leaves the city quietly. Callahan is offered promotion. He hesitates, remembering the past. Power must be handled carefully. Months later, a mysterious envelope arrives. Inside is a photograph of Tyranny meeting an unknown figure. The face is partially hidden, but the badge on his belt is clear. Another insider. Callahan stares at the image. Boston's battle may not be over, and somewhere in the city, a new shadow waits.